Mr. Pankaj Anand sir, how to start your startup. It will help the students, it will help the academician, it will help the researcher towards establishing a startup. It is over to you, Mr. Pankaj Anand sir, for your active presentation. Thank you.
Very good evening to all. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, yes.
Thank you, Dr. Padi, Dr. Subodip Mukherjee, sir, Mr. Samran Bharadwaj, Dr. Mohanty, sir, and to all the other dignitaries who have joined in on the Sunday. So thank you all for joining in. Let's start with actually I am working with AIC SMG TBI, AIC Atal Incubation Center, Sikkim Manipal University Technology Business Incubation, and I'm working as assistant program manager here. And I have been working with startups for a very long period. So let's start with today's session. I would not say the session. Let's start with today's presentation. So let's start with a very basic thing. What is an innovation? So if I say what is an innovation, then innovation is something very practically implement any idea, and that results in the introduction of any kind of a new goods or a service, or at least it's an improvement in the offering that is currently being done. So if many people have categorized innovation in different manners, but majorly it's been categorized into two ways, that is disruptive and incremental. So what is disruptive and what is incremental? Let's discuss this in a bit. So disruptive, let's take this thing first. So it involves applying new technology or process to your company. It can be anything wherein you apply something new, you get in with something new. For example, I'll just give you an example of Uber. So Uber, I hope we all must have used it. And in Uber, what we see is earlier what we used to do before Uber came in. So earlier what we used to do was कि, we all used to go to our nearest bus stop. uh, हम लोग वहाँ पे जाते थे, अपना हाथ हिलाते थे, अगर कोई गाड़ी रुका तो रुका, or else what we used to do is कि we used to waste our time, and अगर कोई आया तो ठीक है, वरना वहीं पे रुके रहो. It was something like that. But now, since Uber has came up, so what has happened is you just need to sit in the comfort of your home, sitting right there at the comfort of your home. You just need to open your mobile, open the app, Uber app, and from there only you can directly book a cab. That cab will come to your doorstep. This is a kind of a disruptive innovation. Now let's go to the incremental one. So it utilizes your existing technology and increases value to the customer. So if I take the same example, there is a Uber. So yes, it does a booking of cabs and all that. But if I say what is an incremental in that, so when we see that, what पहले क्या होता था कि बस वो आता था, हमें पता चलता था it will take 5 minutes, and it's there. We did not used to know where exactly it is, and where is it going, and what exactly is happening with that. So but then Uber added a new feature wherein now what we used to see is, we used to get see a car kind of a sign. We are actually able to see which direction it is moving in, how much time it will take, all the things. So this is kind of a incremental innovation wherein we have added a new feature to the existing product. So if I say validating your idea, so what we kind of tell through our startups is, throw your idea to the wall. By this, what I mean is ki make a ball of think your idea as a ball. You just throw your idea to the wall. If it sticks to the wall, yes, go ahead, very good. If it does not, remake it, remold it, bring in whatever makes it stick to the wall, and then again throw it. But at the same time, there is a third type of startup. So what happens is, when we throw it, when we throw our model to the wall, what happens is it will stick for some time, but then it will go down. We know that it is going to go down. So we need to be very skeptical about these kind of startups. Things to do. So there are few things that you should obviously do. The three things that you should do before your startup are: the first thing is focus more on the problem being solved rather than the idea. But generally what happens is all the entrepreneurs, as we say startup founders, they are already married to their solution or whatever their idea is. So do not be that. Focus on the problem being solved. Why? Because somebody will be willing to pay you only if you will be kind of solving some kind of a problem. So only then people will be willing to pay you. That's why focus more on the problem being solved rather than idea. The next thing is check for the feasibility of the product or idea. So you need to check for the feasibility of the product or idea. Idea basically can be anything. Idea can be, I can say ki I have an idea, I want to go to Mars. I want to build a rocket and go to Mars. But I need to see whether it's feasible or not. So this is one of the most important things that we need to see or we need to check. Next thing is but the most important question is asking pointed questions. What happens is, why I said ki asking pointed questions is a very important point, because what happens is, uh, rather than somebody telling you ki this idea is good or this idea is not good, you yourself will be able to realize if your idea is going to work or not. How? I'll just show you. So these are the pointed questions. Here what happens is these questions will lead us to either answers, or these will help us to get into more research, uh, kind of problem research or solution research or things like that, wherein so that we will be able to find an answer for this. So if few of the pointed questions are like, is this problem something that a lot of people face? So we need to actually brainstorm these points. So is this problem something that a lot of people face or not? So if the problem that you are solving is something that a lot of people face, obviously you'll have a greater market, and in that way you might have a greater revenue. The next pointed question is, how painful is this problem for people? People will be willing to pay, yes, if it is a problem. There are some problems which people kind of postpone it कि चलो आज का काम निकल गया, कल का कल देखेंगे. So you need to find out how painful is this problem. The next pointed question could be does this problem need to be solved? You might think somebody is facing this problem, but that might not actually be true. When you go to the market, when you ask people, it might be your own assumption, I would say. So you need to actually actually brainstorm whether this problem needs to be solved or not. So if you do not brainstorm on this point, so what will happen is you are building a product which basically does not solve a great problem, which people actually want to be solved. And if you do that, so obviously your product will be go beyond something. The next pointed question could be, are people so desperate to find a solution to this problem that they're willing to use a cracker version of your overall product in the beta form, so long as it gets the job done? In easier means, if I say, so is your product something, or is the solution so big that people will be willing to use your even the prototype? So if people are willing to use even your prototype, obviously the product will be good, and the people will love your product. The next question could be, can this problem be solved in other ways? There can be thousands of ways to solve any problem. So if you think that if you come to know, or if you finalize the problem that you want to solve, then you need to work on this thing. Can this problem be solved in other ways? What are the other ways that people could actually solve this problem? Then will people pay to have this problem solved? This is the most important thing. Will people pay to have this problem solved? What happens generally is, when we talk to customers, when we talk to prospect customers, when we go out into the actual market, and then we ask them, this is my idea, how do you like it? Most of the people will say that, yes, this is a very good idea, I really liked it, this is great, go ahead, and all the things. But at the same time, what will happen is, when at the next time when you go to them and you tell them that I have this product ready, now I want 10,000 from you, or you quote any money. So at that time, will they be willing to pay you to get this problem solved or not? So this is a very important thing. Then will they pay your company to solve this problem for them? So as we had just discussed, a problem can be solved in many ways. So why people should pay you or your company to solve this problem for them? What is so unique about you or your company? So these are few of the pointed questions that you need to brainstorm before starting up, before going into your startup. Then these are also few of the points that you need to think on, or you need to know before you start your startup. So these are few of the points that you can actually brainstorm on. Problem validation, as we have just discussed, problem validation is a very important thing. So you need to validate if that problem is how big that problem is, or whether that problem is actually a problem or not, all those things. Then next thing comes of validating your assumptions. So what I'll say is validating your assumptions. There might be different assumptions that you might have done to uh, to come up for your company or for your idea. For example, you might have thought my website will be like this. I'll be able to finish my website in 15 days and then I'll go live. But that is an assumption, and until and unless it is proven, it is not correct. It will still be assumption. So you need to point out assumptions that might be in terms of your product, that might be in terms of your execution, that might be in terms of your market. You might think whole of India is my market, whole of Indian people will buy my product, but that might not be true. So you need to validate your assumptions. Then the next thing comes is market. So you need to know what is a market, who all are your prospect customers, because what happens is based on your market only. Once you know your market, then you'll be able to go forward with your marketing strategy. Your marketing strategy will be particularly based on the market that you have planned. So you will be spending a lot on your marketing strategies, on your all the plan all the plannings and all that. So before starting spending money on these things, you need to actually know what your actual market is. The next thing is your customer persona. So you need to actually know what your customer looks like. You need to actually brainstorm on who all are your customer, how your customer would, basically where your customer be on a Sunday evening, or when he is free, or what is his demographics. All these things you need to think upon. Based on these things, you will be able to focus your marketing ideas, marketing plannings are much better. The next thing that comes up is if you yourself will invest in your idea or not. This is also a very important point. If you take yourself, you need to take yourself as an investor, and then you think, if somebody comes to me with this idea, will I invest in this or not? Once you do this exercise, what will happen is you will come to know a few things, like if I'm not going to invest in my idea, then why not? Why not will give you many answers that you can actually improve upon. So to improve upon your idea and what others might think about you, you need to do this kind of exercise, wherein you will ask yourself, uh, wherein you will be an investor, and you'll ask yourself if you yourself will invest in your idea or not. Then comes the customer conversation. So how you are actually going to talk to your customers? What are the templates that you will see or that you will work upon to before going to your customer? And speaking about customer conversations, so there are a few things that you should definitely not do during your customer conversation. For example, the first thing would be selling too soon. So what happens is, when you go to our customer, we, rather than talking to them, rather than asking them if they are actually facing this kind of problem or not, rather than making a personal relation with them, we start telling them that this is my idea, this is the product, and you actually start talking about your product and telling them that this is my idea, this is my product, and this is what it will cost, and all these things. Never do that. First, you go to them, listen to them, hear what they have to say, whether they are actually facing some kind of problem or not related to that, and all that. Once you have all this information will also be very valuable to you. Then the next deadly sin could be talking to your friends and family. What happens is once we have an idea, we talk to our friends and or family. Generally, our friends and family are too biased towards us. Whatever we do, they'll say, yes, this is good, or things like that. They'll only say good things. They won't criticize you. They won't say, no, this will not work, or things like that. So never talk to your friends or family. The next thing is hearing, not listening. So there is a difference between hearing and listening. So in hearing, what we do is we just, we just hear things, and we just once that is done, once we are over with customer conversation, we do not actually take something out of that. So we should not do that. Rather than hearing, we should do listening. That is actually hearing to actually listening to what they want to say. Actually listening to their problem, actually trying to solve their problem, things like that. The next thing is your customer willing to pay? As I just told, your customers, your prospect customer could say ki, yes, this is a very good idea, we actually want something like this, but will they be actually willing to pay or not? This is a very important thing, because everybody will say, yes, this is a very good idea, yes, go ahead, and things like that. But when you tell them that this will cost you 3,000, at that time they might back out. So this is something that you should take care of. Then the next point is ice cream questions, that we call in the startup world ice cream questions. That is asking close-ended questions. So we might we as a startup founder, as an entrepreneur, we have a particular bias towards our own enterprise or a startup, or the idea that we have. So rather than asking question like, do you like my product, or things like that, you should ask open-ended questions, wherein which feature you actually liked about our product, why you liked our product. Ask open-ended questions rather than just yes or no, so that we'll get much more insights about what people actually think about our product and things like that. Then listen to the urgency. So you need to listen to the urgency, whether people are in need of this product urgently or not. If people are in need of a product urgently, what will happen is they will be much more willing to pay for to solve this problem. And the ultimate goal of a startup is to earn money or generate revenue. So if people will be willing to pay, so yes, that is good for you. And the last point would be walking away with nothing. So basically, this is something like, you have spoken with your prospect customer for half an hour, but you have once you go out of there, you have no idea what you took out from there. You have no idea about that. You lost everything. Never do that. Keep making points. Keep making MOM, minutes of meeting, or things like that, so that you can actually work on those and can actually improve yourself, your idea, or your product. Now, if I talk about incubation, what happens is, so I'll just go ahead with a story. So basically, there are three types of incubators. So the first one is wherein chicks are kept and grown. Chicks, chicken babies, they're kept and grown. The second one is when a human baby is born. If he is facing any difficulty or is not well, then doctors keep that baby in incubators. So they have a blue kind of lamp, wherein if baby is born but he's not well, a kind of ICU place. So they keep babies in that incubator. And the third one is an incubator like us, that is AIC SME TBI. The job of all three is similar. That is to support and sustain early stage life, be it chicks or human beings or early stage startups. So we kind of support startups, early stage startups, and train them. We help them to actually figure out all the things that I spoke about. We help them actually go into the market, get to the investors, get investment, and their whole startup life cycle. So if I talk about what about us, AICSME TBI, so we are one of the 100 world-class incubators envisioned by the Atal Incubation Mission, NITI Aayog, Government of India. And we are the first incubator of NITI Aayog based in Northeast India. Currently, we are supporting 42 startups with us. We are sector agnostic, and our portfolio includes startups from e-mobility, edtech, agri-tech, tourism, FMCG, deep tech, fintech, and service aggregators. We mentorship is a very important part in the life of a startup, and currently we have more than 28 mentors with us. Funds raised by our startups is more than 9 CR, and jobs created is something that we look forward to, as we are directly backed by NITI Aayog, Government of India, and as per our Honorable Prime Minister, job creation is one of the most important that we look to. So currently, we our startups have generated more than 127 jobs, wherein if I say so, we take only the the basic wage that has been prescribed by the government of India, only that. Below that, we do not take it as a job. So above uh, the normal wage that is prescribed by the government of India, these 127 jobs are there. So this was it from my side. So if you want to contact us, so you can do, and I'm more open to any questions or anything like that. If you have any in terms of practical learnings or in